I was sold to the ruthless alpha billionaire. Caelan Mercer had never imagined his life would be decided by a signature. At 23, the gentle Omega spent every waking hour trying to keep his younger brother, Ivan, safe. Since their parents' passing, the brothers had relied on each other to survive. Caelan worked 2 exhausting jobs, one at a small cafe and another delivering packages at night. But no matter how hard he worked, their debts only grew. The biggest burden was Ivan's heart condition. Every hospital visit came with another impossible bill. One rainy evening, Caelan returned to find strangers waiting outside their apartment. "You have 48 hours, the leader said coldly, placing a thick folder into Caelan's hands. "If the debt isn't paid, everything you own will be seized." Caelan pleaded, "I just need more time." "You've already had enough." The men left him standing in the rain. That night, while Ivan slept peacefully, Caelan sat alone in the kitchen, wondering if hope had finally abandoned them. The next afternoon, a sleek black limousine stopped outside the cafe. A graceful woman stepped out. "My name is Celine Ardent." She handed Caelan a silver envelope sealed with black wax. "There is someone willing to erase every debt your family owes." His heart pounded. "There must be a condition." "There is." She paused. "You will relocate to Sterling Manor and work exclusively under Mr. Draven Sterling." Caelan had heard the name countless times. Draven Sterling, the youngest alpha billionaire in the country. A man known for his icy demeanor, impossible standards, and frightening influence. Rumors painted him as someone who controlled everyone around him. "What kind of work?" Caelan asked nervously. "Personal assistant." "And if I refuse?" "The offer disappears." Caelan looked toward the hospital where his brother was receiving treatment. Then he closed his eyes. "I'm doing this for Ivan." With trembling hands, he signed. Sterling Manor was unlike anything Caelan had ever seen. Towering gates, perfect gardens, a mansion that looked more like a royal palace than a home. He expected servants to treat him like a prisoner. Instead, everyone welcomed him politely. A housekeeper showed him to a spacious bedroom overlooking a peaceful lake. "This room is yours," she smiled. "My room," Mr. Sterling insisted. Nothing made sense. The next morning, Caelan was escorted to Draven's office. The Alpha stood beside enormous windows overlooking the city. Tall, impeccably dressed, golden eyes that revealed nothing. Without turning around, he spoke. "You arrived on time." "Yes, sir. I dislike unnecessary conversations." "I understand. You'll assist with schedules, correspondence, and charity projects." Caelan blinked. "Charity?" Draven finally looked at him. "You seem surprised." "I thought." "You thought I'd lock you away?" Caelan lowered his eyes. "I heard many stories." "So did I." Draven walked past him. "Most of them are wrong." As days passed, Caelan noticed something unusual. Despite Draven's cold exterior, every employee respected him. No one feared him. They admired him. Late one evening, Caelan accidentally discovered a hidden office filled with documents. Thousands of scholarships, medical donations, children's hospitals, anonymous relief funds. Every donation traced back to Draven. Yet his name appeared nowhere. The Ruthless Alpha was secretly changing countless lives. Weeks turned into months. Working together became easier. Draven rarely smiled, but he always noticed when Caelan skipped meals. One afternoon, Draven placed a lunchbox on his desk. "You forgot to eat." Caelan looked up in surprise. "You remembered? You can't work if you're exhausted." It was such a simple gesture, yet no one had cared for Caelan that way in years. One stormy evening, the power briefly went out across the estate. Unable to sleep, Caelan wandered into the mansion's art gallery. To his surprise, Draven was already there. He stood before a single painting of a smiling family. "My parents," Draven said quietly. Caelan remained silent. "They died when I was 19. My condolences. I built this empire because I thought success would erase loneliness." He laughed bitterly. It didn't. For the first time, Caelan saw not a billionaire, not an alpha, just a lonely man carrying invisible scars. The next day, Draven found Caelan sketching during lunch. "You draw beautifully. It used to be my dream. What stopped you?" Life became more expensive than dreams. Draven looked at the unfinished sketch. Dreams shouldn't disappear because of hardship. That evening, an entire art studio was prepared inside Sterling Manor. Blank canvases, professional supplies, everything Caelan had once wished for. There was no note. There didn't need to be. He already knew who had done it. One afternoon, Caelan visited the legal department to deliver documents. As he approached the conference room, voices drifted through the open door. "The Mercer debt has officially been erased." "Good. So technically, he was never purchased." Caelan froze. Purchased? His heart raced. That evening, he confronted Draven. "Tell me the truth." Draven looked up from his desk. "What truth?" "The contract. You didn't buy me, did you?" Silence filled the room. Finally, Draven sighed. "No." "Then why did everyone believe it?" "Because your creditors spread those rumors." He stood and walked toward the window. "They intended to exploit your desperation. I settled every debt. I offered you employment because it was the fastest legal way to guarantee your income, housing, and your brother's medical care." Caelan's eyes filled with tears. "So, I've been free this entire time?" "You always were." "Then why didn't you tell me?" Draven smiled sadly. "Because I wanted you to decide who I was through my actions, not my words." In that moment, every misunderstanding disappeared. A year later, Caelan stood inside a beautiful art gallery. Every wall displayed his paintings. People admired his work from every corner of the city. At the center of the exhibition hung one final masterpiece. Its title read, "The Man Who Chose Kindness." The painting showed a lone alpha standing beneath heavy rain while shielding a single white flower. Draven stopped before it. "You painted me." Caelan smiled softly. "I painted the man no one bothered to understand." The exhibition was a remarkable success. Soon afterward, Draven helped Caelan open his own art studio. Not as a gift, but as an investment in Caelan's future. On opening day, guests filled the studio with laughter and celebration. As the evening drew to a close, Draven handed Caelan a small velvet box. Inside rested a silver pendant engraved with 3 simple words. "Always your choice." "There are no contracts anymore," Draven said gently. "No obligations. No debts. If you decide to leave today, I'll still be grateful our paths crossed." Caelan looked around the studio, the dream he had once believed impossible. Then he turned back to Draven. Months earlier, he had stayed because he had nowhere else to go. Now, he stayed because he wanted to. He reached out and took Draven's hand. "I'm not here because you rescued me. I'm here because you respected me when the rest of the world didn't." For the first time in years, Draven smiled without restraint. Outside, the evening sky glowed with countless stars. Sometimes destiny begins with hardship. Sometimes love arrives disguised as kindness. And sometimes, the greatest freedom is finding the one person who never wanted to own your heart, only to be worthy of it. Call to action, end of story. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification bell so you never miss another emotional BL romance here on Loveverse. Every week, we bring you original Omegaverse stories, unforgettable characters, heartfelt romance, and journeys that prove love can bloom even in the darkest moments. Now tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were Caelan? Would you have trusted Draven from the beginning? Or would it have taken time to believe his kindness? We'd love to read your thoughts. Thank you for spending your time with Loveverse. Until our next story, may every heart find its perfect verse.